I wanted to share with everyone my experience so far with Bitcoins and with the Abra crypto wallet and also coins.ph. So take from it whatever you can, and but this is just my experience. So I found out about Bitcoin several years back. I remember meeting a guy who I asked what he does, and this guy was like pretty loaded. And he said to me he does Bitcoins, and I'm like, okay, I knew about it, but I didn't really know about it. So, but I knew he had a lot of money. That's all I knew. So fast forward to last year, 2019, my friend suddenly messages me asking me if I knew about Bitcoins and that he's investing in it. So I started, asking some questions. He started giving me some more information. That was November when I started looking into it. A month later, December, I decided to jump in. So the first thing I did was I got a crypto wallet. So that's the first thing you need is a wallet. A wallet is some place where you can put your cryptocurrency. So in the Philippines, there aren't a lot of options. So the two options that I know of is Abra and coins.ph. So I went with Abra first, and I immediately had myself verified. You take a selfie, then you take a photo with the selfie with your driver's license, so stuff like that. So they'll send it, and then you'll send it to them, and then they'll verify it. After I did that, then I went to Union Bank, and then I deposited money into my crypto account. I think mine was deposited into my Abra account within 24 to 48 hours. So I'd get the money between 24 to 48 hours. And then I started trading in Bitcoin. So trading into from the fiat money, which is in this case Philippine peso, to a Bitcoin is pretty easy. You just go to exchange, and then you exchange your money to Bitcoins, and they'll tell you the exchange rate. Now, what I realized was when you buy a Bitcoin, it's exactly like foreign currency trading, where if you buy it, let's say the price is 400,000 pesos, right? That's the current exchange rate. They will sell you a Bitcoin for 406,000 pesos. So there's a spread of about 6,000 pesos. And then if you want to sell your Bitcoin and they'll buy it from you, then they deduct 6,000, so the price will be only 394,000 pesos. So that's where they make their money. It sounds like a lot, to be honest with you, I guess, when you're dealing in bigger amounts. But I guess it's okay. It works out to about 1.5%, give or take. What I did was, from Abra, I started buying Bitcoins. And I knew about the exchange rate. I just went with it because that's what was available to me in the Philippines. And one day, I was depositing money into my account. And here's my biggest problem with the Abra wallet. I deposited money into my account. Right after I did that, they locked me out of my wallet. And when they locked me out of my wallet, and I asked them, why did you lock me out of my wallet? I emailed them. It took them over 24 hours to reply. And when they replied, it took them about 4 days to be able to give me access back to my wallet. My own wallet, they locked me out. I mean, the idea of cryptocurrency and holding on to Bitcoins is that you are the only one with access to it, and nobody can control your access to your own money. And this time, Abra enforced themselves on my wallet. And when I pressed them for an answer and I asked them, why did you do that? Their only reply to me was that they cannot disclose to me the reason why they locked me out of my wallet, and that based on some privacy policy, they're not obligated to disclose that reason to me. And they included that at any time they can lock me out of my wallet without any notice. That's very unsettling. That's very disturbing and unnerving, and every other negative word I can think of. It is not good that our crypto wallet app is going to tell you that they can just shut you out of your wallet without any reason whatsoever. I got so worried about that I decided to open another wallet. So I opened coins.ph, where I transferred most of my investments. And with coins.ph, what I liked about them was that they immediately had me verified, and they respond very quickly to any problems. So when there was a problem with my login where I think I put the wrong address and then it didn't match with my ID, they immediately got back to me and we fixed the problem. So I like that with coins.ph, that they reply within an hour versus Abra, which takes them about over 24 to 48 hours before they'll even reply to you. So that's the thing that I don't like about Abra that I liked about coins.ph. The other thing that I don't like about Abra is that you don't get the I think it's called a transaction hash, or the public transaction hash of your transactions, to verify that your transactions are on the Bitcoin blockchain public ledger. And the whole point about Bitcoin is that you should be on the public ledger to verify your transaction. That's how you know that you own that Bitcoin. And that's not available unless you request for it. But you have to email them to request for it, then they'll send it to you. And that's apparently the best they can do at this point. So if you don't request for it, they won't give that to you. But they should, because that information is your information to protect you in case there's a problem with your Bitcoin, or that you just want to make sure that you are purchasing Bitcoins. And it's not just transacting it inside the Abra app and you don't really own any Bitcoins, right? So that's, I think, a security that most people would want. One of the questions people ask me about Bitcoins is that, do you have to buy a whole Bitcoin? No, you don't. Because the Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million Satoshis. I even like that they call it a Satoshi as a tribute to the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. So 100 million Satoshis. So you can buy one Satoshi if you want. Or in this case, just say I want to buy 5,000 pesos, and then they'll convert it to how many Satoshis you can get. So you can put as little as you want or as much as you want. Just add on a little bit, as much as you can afford at that time, until you can build up the money for your Bitcoins. The important thing is to be investing. Regardless of the amount, just put money in. It's a good investment to make rather than just putting it in the bank. Here's my experience of sending Bitcoins from one wallet to another. So I sent myself a Bitcoin from one wallet, from Abra, to my coins.ph account. Within 15 minutes, coins.ph showed me a message saying that I'm receiving a Bitcoin. And then on my Abra account, the Bitcoin I had was gone. So it's moving to my coins.ph wallet. It took about an hour to get the actual transaction from my Abra to my coins.ph account. So it's not bad. And although for that hour I was a little bit nervous, because I was thinking, what if I made a mistake, or what if it doesn't go through? But it did go through. I've tried it twice already, and it did go through. It takes about an hour for it to go through. So to buy and sell Bitcoins, most people will go through an exchange, and will go through the exchange of their wallets. So in this case, it would be Abra or coins.ph, but there are other exchanges out there. And also there's a chance to be able to buy and sell Bitcoins using a broker. Now, I met this one broker, and she apparently represents some miners who do sell Bitcoins. And the price she sells it for is very close to the actual exchange rate of the Bitcoin to whatever currency. So I was like excited, because that means I'm not gonna pay as much to be able to buy a Bitcoin. But what I realized was that she charges a percentage from your currency. So depending on the amount that you put in, she'll charge you anywhere from 2% all the way up to 4% of whatever money you're going to use to buy your Bitcoin. So I computed it all, and it turns out that Abra and that broker is at par in terms of cost. The most expensive one between the three, so we have coins.ph, Abra, and the broker is coins.ph. Coins.ph, to give you an idea, if Abra was charging you about 6,000 pesos, if the price of the Bitcoin was 4,000, for example, 400,000, they'll sell you a Bitcoin for 406,000. Coins.ph will sell you a Bitcoin for, if it's 400,000, they'll sell it to you for 410,000 pesos. That's about 2.5% versus Abra, which is 1.5%. So Abra wins in terms of exchange rate because it's a lot cheaper than Coins.ph. With the broker, the other problem is when you buy a Bitcoin, you have to first deposit the money to their account. So that's the problem. You're depositing the money with no guarantee that you're getting a Bitcoin. Although they say they're going to send you a Bitcoin, but they want you to send the money first. So on the other side, I'm sure the broker wouldn't want to give you a Bitcoin without you giving the money first. But you would want to get the Bitcoin first before giving the money. So which comes first? That's the hard part. So you have to really trust the broker. Otherwise, maybe you can go to the bank and put verify that there's money in the account and that the check is good. And then they send you the Bitcoin right in front of you at the bank, and then when they send the Bitcoin, they deposit the check. That's the only thing I can imagine. Or you bring cash to them, and if it's a big amount, my God, that's a cash transaction, and then they give you the Bitcoin. That's the hard part about using a broker. Unless you're familiar with them and you know them already, there's a lot of trust that has to go with it. And it's hard when you've never transacted with them. So you have to look for references, people that have done business with them that you trust. Otherwise, that's very, very scary to just deal with a broker. Scams. I want to put it out there, the scams. There are a lot of scams with Bitcoins. There are a lot of pyramid schemes. There are a lot of Ponzi schemes. Be careful of that. And if somebody says to you, hey, you should invest in Bitcoins, give me your money, and then I'll hold it, and you need to hold your Bitcoin for X number of days or months or weeks or years, that's bullshit, okay? You don't need to do anything. When you're buying and trading Bitcoins, it's instantaneous. When you pay, you get it right away. So anybody that says otherwise, it's a scam. Be careful. Now, when you withdraw money from Abra or from your Coins.ph account, they have withdrawal limits depending on your verification. I'm verified on both, and that means that my daily limit is at $4,000. But Abra did state that they have to approve all transactions. So that's a little bit unnerving again. So the scary part is if one day you want to sell your Bitcoins and then exchange it for cash and then withdraw the cash, maybe you may not be able to withdraw it. I've never tried it, but I'm going to test it one of these days. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to update you on that. Now, their limit is $4,000 a day. Coins.ph, on the other hand, there's levels to it. If you're level 1, level 2, level 3, they'll tell you how much you can withdraw on the account. Now, I'm a level 3 verified. I'm a level 3 verified user. Therefore, my limit is 400,000 pesos. So in dollars, that's approximately about $8,000. I think both wallets have their pros and cons, and there is a benefit to Abra because it's cheaper, but in Coins.ph, they seem to be running everything more professionally because they reply faster, and there seems to be no arbitrary just closing your account. At least I haven't experienced it yet. While Abra did that to me already, so I'm a little bit wary of that if they've done it before, that they can do it again. Oh, and I have to mention, by the way, that instead of a mobile wallet, you can also get an actual hard ledger, and that's a USB ledger. And in the States, it costs about $50, but I think in the Philippines, it costs about $100. And the good thing about that is your private key and your Bitcoin will be in that physical wallet. The scary part about that is if you lose that USB and somebody gets it, they own that Bitcoin. So it's literally like holding on to cash when you have a physical hard ledger. So if you have a hard ledger, what I would recommend is put it in a safety deposit box, or if you have a safe at home, then lock it up in a vault that's secure. That's the only thing about the hard wallet. But a hard wallet is good if you have a lot of Bitcoins versus putting it in a mobile wallet where somebody else has control of that wallet over you, unless you really trust that wallet. But the wallets that are in the Philippines right now, I'm a little bit skeptical, to be honest with you, of Abra because of what they did to me. So at the end of all of this, what I found was each wallet had their pros and cons. Abra, cheaper fees and pretty versatile, I guess. It's easy to look at. User interface is great, but they did lock me out of my account for 4 days. I didn't like that, and they wouldn't give me an explanation on why they did it, and they even emphasized that they can do it at any time and lock me out of my account with no prior notice. Coins.ph, they reply very quickly. They're more expensive in terms of trading, but they seem more professional, so I like that. But it's just more expensive. So if you're willing to pay the price, Coins.ph is probably the best bet. The last one is the Nano Ledger. The Nano Ledger, for security, that you hold on to your Bitcoin and nobody else does, that's a great bet. Just make sure you secure that Nano wallet or that USB wallet, because if it gets lost, bye-bye Bitcoins. And in terms of trading, like I said, I like Abra because it's cheaper to trade with Abra, and you can also use a broker, but make sure that you trust your broker enough, because at any time, if you deposit money to their account and they don't give you a Bitcoin, how are you going to chase them for it? And no matter what, for me, at the end of the day, just start it, invest in Bitcoins, because man, this thing is gonna just go boom, straight up. And you better hodl when that time happens.